Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. This is your boy JJ. And yeah, you all saw the little thumbnail I have posted. And yep, it is true. Cause if you guys have been living under a rock, you guys didn't notice that yesterday on July the 20 no, on July 30th, yesterday, WWE had recently released WWE Unreal, which is a brand new documentary series that I had got a chance to watch. All 5 episodes that are on Netflix. And so far, to what I had to think about it, it's pretty decent. I actually enjoyed watching it. Even though that is something that WWE should have never done in the first place since they are on Netflix. Yeah, but yeah, I actually find myself enjoying watching WWE Unreal on Netflix, which is only 5 episodes. You know how how Triple H, not just WWE, but also Triple H, take you into the writer's room as he's pulling back the curtain, taking you behind the scenes of all the rehearsals that him, the writers, WWE superstars, have been, taking you to their personal beings, showing what they do inside and outside the ring as they're going through the rehearsals, learning through the ropes, learning through the skills before and after the show, taking to the backstage and gorilla position. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. But yeah, I got a chance to write down a bunch of notes to how I actually, feel about it, even though it was enjoying watching Unreal, but it was really unnecessary. And that's why I had took a lot of notes to what I had saw that they have put out on Netflix. So that's why in this video I'm definitely gonna be talking about my review of WWE Unreal. So without further ado, let's get started. First up, we're gonna have episode 1, where it started off with surprise, surprise, none other than Triple H, the Chief Content Officer. He's now going. This is when he is talking about his life in WWE, how he had transformed from being a WWE wrestler to being one of the greatest. I'm not gonna put him as one of my greatest when it comes to the WWE Mount Rushmore. I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, he's talking about his life as a WWE superstar, where he started to where he had ended up at to where he's at right now. How he ended up as the Chief Content Officer, working behind the scenes as the booking the shows and all that stuff. And that's not all, but this is when he also takes us into the writer's room, where the magic happens. Yeah, I put down that how Triple H had explored how he's booking the shows, the matches. And I also put down, but he doesn't really think that far ahead for certain reasons. And then we had cut to CM Punk, who has cut an interview. How he has said his real name, Phil Brooks. And he has shown to what made him become a WWE superstar, to how he started from his training to where he is right now when it comes to WWE in general. How he had ups and downs, had many problems with WWE in the past since 2011, 2013. Story to how he left WWE. Yep. And here's what I had caught. I had paused when he had did a little interview talking about Triple H. That is when I had just took down my notes about it. Are y'all ready for this? Check it. CM Punk has stated that Triple H didn't actually give him what he wanted back in 2012, but when it comes to main eventing WrestleMania, even Triple H has said himself. And when Hunter, aka Triple H, Hunter Helmsley, when he was the chief content officer, and he still is, Punk had then said that him, Vinnie Mac, and Triple H had a meeting about bringing him back to WWE. And Punk had stated that WWE had ghosted him. He didn't get no response back from WWE. And that's what Triple H had also said. Triple H had cut an interview that he had talked about that as well. You know what he said? Triple H had said, and I quote, "Nope, not gonna work, because he's still the same person." Bro, if I'm CM Punk, if I was watching that, the way he said in that document Unreal series, I would have been pissed. For real. Because he literally just exposed that. He literally said, and I quote, "Nope, not gonna work, because Punk is still the same person." And CM Punk had talked about that as well during his interviews in these different wrestling podcasts in the past. How he had made problems with WWE. But now that Triple H had literally came out and said that in this Unreal series, instead of actually talking about this to Punk face to face during these private meetings, bro, I was seeing Punk, I would have been pissed on that too. But I want to keep it, company wise, I want to keep it professional. Why? Because he had came back in 2023. Yeah, so if I'm seeing Punk, I know I would have been pissed. I will have a long conversation with Triple H on that, but I want to keep it professional. So, yep. And with BC Amplified, shout out to BC, by the way. You guys did not watch his wrestling podcast. I have watched his podcast all the time. So, shout out to BC Amplified. He even called that. You know what he said? He had said that that we call that cock block. Not actually saying this to someone's face one-on-one, but keep it behind closed doors. We call that cock block. Because CM Punk didn't know about that, but because WWE has ghosted him. That's what CM Punk said. And that he didn't get no word, but Triple H had said, and I quote, "Nope, it's not going to work, because he is still the same person." And remember, this is back when he wasn't really in charge. He was still the chief content officer. Triple H wasn't the chairman of the company. So who did he say that to? It's not going to work. He's still the same person. Who did he say that to? Exactly. So the word already got out on the new Unreal series. If you guys did not check that out, that's literally episode 1. And that's not more. We got more than that. This is one of my favorite ones. Triple H now took us behind the scenes of him being in gorilla position, being in charge of the matches, seeing everything and organized, to see if how the matches are going on Raw and SmackDown. So he's talking about the gorilla position, everything they do in and outside of the wrestling ring, where they perform in, and that they have like a match producer. So they have literally exposed everything as they pull back the curtain of everything that they did behind the scenes during the rehearsals with a freaking match producer. Was that really necessary? I mean, they exposed themselves before in the past, because kayfabe is long dead. We know that. But we didn't really need to see that. But it is what it is, though. Because Triple H knows that Raw Netflix viewers are dwindling down to 2.6 million. They debuted it on Netflix back in January 6th, which is freaking 6 million views. And guess what? Months go by, and they are literally dropped down to 2.6 million views. SmackDown on USA Network, they had dropped down to 1.3, 1.2, and then they somehow managed to go back to 1.6, 1.7 recently. But still, though. Then we get to episode 2. This is when we had cut to Cody Rhodes interview, and he had took us into his house with his wife Brandy, and that he had talked about his family, his wife Brandy, his daughter as well. We had they were putting up a Christmas tree, and they have a gingerbread that looked like Shawn Michaels. Okay, I thought that was really cute. I like that. I like how we get to see what the wrestlers are doing when they're not performing on TV. That they're spending time with their families, their friends, and their loved ones. Yeah, I thought that was really cute by Cody Rhodes. Introduces to his old family. I'm glad that they got a chance to bring Brandy into his WWE Unreal series. That's a W. I like that. But then we get to the good stuff. Y'all ready for this? We now really cut to the writer's room. This is when they start exploring where the magic happens for WWE. So, yep. So, here we go. This is what the notes I took down. So, Triple H had then took us to the writer's room where they have like a big giant whiteboard where they put down all the matches. And from what I saw, I paused it and I took a look at what matches do they have in it. And some of it's just match, promo, match, match. Yeah. So yeah, Triple H had talked to the writers in the writers' room about it. And one of them said the writers wanted Cena or John Cena or CM Punk to win the Royal Rumble. This happened literally this year. The Royal Rumble 2025 happened literally this year, and they're actually bringing it out on this Unreal series. So everybody was talking about who should win the Royal Rumble for the men's and the women's. This is on episode 2. One of them, such as WWE VIP Vice President and lead writer Jonathan, he was there with Triple H along with the rest of them, and he had. They also talk about the Monday Night Raw matches and SmackDown matches, where Jonathan, the VP lead writer of Monday Night Raw, he had talked to Triple H, and he had said, "Well, we don't really have that much heels on Raw. So are we just gonna parade the Judgment Day every week? Because we don't really have that much heels." And Triple H is like, "Yeah, to be honest, you actually got a point. Yeah, that is true. I mean, we can't just have Cody out there as a heel with John Cena all the time. So yeah, you got a point." And I'm like, wait, what? So is this what so this how they actually showed us how they do the matches in the writer's room? You know what? Hold on. I actually put down a bunch of matches each and every episode. So I'm actually gonna talk about the matches that they actually that showed us on TV before WWE Unreal had debuted on Netflix. Here are the matches for Raw. Raw on April 28, 2025. One of them has the War Raiders versus Judgment Day. Logan Paul cut a 5-minute segment with Jey Uso. Stephanie McCurry versus Ivy Nile. Pat McAfee wanted to fight Gunther at Backlash after Gunther lost to Jey Uso. What else? No, there's more than that. Raw May 5th. Jey Uso and Paul Heyman cut segment. Sheamus versus Austin Theory. Penta versus JD McDonald's who's from the Judgment Day. Io Sky versus Roxanne. Rusev versus Otis. That's on May 5th. Raw May 12th. Penta versus Chad Gable. War Raiders versus American Made. Jey Uso and Gunther segment. AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. Raw May 26th. Penta wins qualifying match. Rusev versus Tozawa. New Day retains the tag titles. Jey Uso and Gunther segment. Oh yeah, that was only on May. Let's try June of this year. Logan Paul and Gunther start off Monday Night Raw. Penta and AJ in a tag team match. I think that they were taking on the Judgment Day, I believe. Sheamus versus Grayson Waller. June 9th on Raw. AJ Styles versus Chad Gable. CM Punk and John Cena segment. And I'm like, wait, so this is what they have been doing in the writer's room on a whiteboard with a piece of marker. Some of the matches we've seen so many times. Most of the tag teams have been dropping titles, handing to another tag team. They've been changing titles every 3 months. Like whichever wrestling tag team in the tag team division wins the tag team titles, guess what? They've been changing hands every 2 to 3 months. And some of the singles matches we've seen so many times. Like Jey Uso versus Gunther. Sheamus versus Grayson Waller, which is the match that we also saw on this past Monday Night Raw. What else? Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. How many times we saw that? So this is what they've been doing in the writer's room. And we'll get this. So remember I talked about Jonathan, the lead writer in WWE? He told Triple H, and even the WWE Hall of Famer Rick Stein, they had come together and said, who is the most over wrestler in the company? Who should win the Royal Rumble for the men's and women's? Two of them said Jey Uso, but the rest of them said CM Punk. And Triple H said, well, he didn't really say it, but he actually thought about it. But two of them said Jey Uso, more than the rest of them said CM Punk. And that's when Triple H had made his decision. He had Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble. And I was like, oh, so that's why Jey Uso had took the podcast saying that he had gotten a call from Triple H few hours before the Royal Rumble, by the way, that he was going to win the Royal Rumble in the last minute. How does that make any sense? You have freaking John Cena. You had Roman Reigns. You had CM Punk. You even had LA Knight. Which, by the way, I didn't see LA Knight anywhere in this Unreal series, but just a few pop-ups in like a few seconds. They didn't have LA Knight cut an interview. They didn't have Karrion Kross cut an interview. They didn't have R2 cut an interview. They didn't have Io Sky cut an interview in this Unreal series. Okay. Then we get to episode 3, which is called Worth the Wait. You're gonna love this, guys. In the board meeting, uh, the board meeting in the writers' room, they were also talking about who should win the women's Royal Rumble, which is when they had brought in, they had Charlotte Flair cut an interview. They had someone they had Chelsea Green cut an interview talking about their personal lives, to how they become a wrestler, why they want to become a WWE superstar. They had talked about their how their families coming to support them. They had talked about their injuries. And how they had went through recovery. But yeah, Charlotte Flair had talked about her injury like months ago, and now they have cut a journey of Charlotte Flair coming back to WWE along with Chelsea Green as well. So yeah, the writers was like, who should win the Women's Royal Rumble, and that's how the writer Jonathan told Triple H that it could be Charlotte or it could be Chelsea Green. Man, why does it always have to be Charlotte and not Chelsea Green? This is why they should have just had Chelsea Green win the Royal Rumble, if not Io Sky or Alexa Bliss. Matter of fact, why didn't Alexa Bliss cut an interview in this Unreal series? I don't know. And that's when both Jey Uso and Charlotte both win the Royal Rumble. One of them lost to Tiffany Stratton, and the other one kicked off WrestleMania. Oh, we're gonna get to Jey Uso in a second, but also they also have Triple H giving out Papa H speeches to the wrestlers before they go out if they're nervous. Yeah, but I had noticed that LA Knight was nowhere to be seen on there because Triple H is not an LA Knight guy. Karrion Kross is nowhere to be seen on there. R-Truth is nowhere to be seen on there. Alexa Bliss is nowhere to be seen on there. I saw that Dakota Kai, who is also a wrestler, Dakota Kai was seen on there, where she got released. Matter of fact, not just Dakota Kai, but remember when WWE had released a bunch of wrestlers, total of 16 wrestlers, one of them got fired, or just they didn't renew their contract. One of them was seen on the documentary series. Go and watch Unreal, guys. It's on Netflix. You don't want to believe, but you will believe it. And yeah, it says so. Triple H was backstage. He was cutting some Papa H speeches to the wrestlers, talk down to them. Look at him like as Papa H. Because Papa H is cooking. Oh, he's cooking, all right. He is telling someone like Jey Uso, Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley. It was awkward that there was cameras circling around them as he's giving out these speeches to the wrestlers before they go out. He gave them a hug, and he was whispering in their ears. It's that talking about that you did good. That's how you get someone. That's how you did good out there. That is how you get someone else over in a wrestling match. He gave them so tight in a hug. It was so awkward to Rhea Ripley, and so awkward to Jey Uso, so awkward to CM Punk. But yeah, that's how it is. That's just how it is, guys. Oh, episode 4. This is where it gets really juicy. This is one of my favorites. Episode 4, heel turn. Title heel turn, where we cut to The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yep, here we go. It is The Rock's story. How him and Nick Khan cut an interview. How going back 40 years in the WWE. How he had cut 30 years with The Rock. How he had known The Rock for 20 to 30 years in the company. How, remember back after on March, it's like, no, not March, it's on April, like after WrestleMania, how The Rock had took to Pat McAfee's show saying that he had gotten was saying that was he not at WrestleMania, but Travis Scott is at the main event WrestleMania night 2 with John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and that The Rock wasn't there. Remember when The Rock had took to Pat McAfee's show that he had gotten a phone call from Triple H and Nick Khan that that ticket sales were low at Elimination Chamber. Remember that? Yeah, we are now getting more information on this in the Unreal series. I took down notes of this. That Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, and Kiyoshi had took the phone call to The Rock, saying that ticket sales were low and slow. So yeah, Bruce, Triple H, and Kiyoshi during the phone call saying who's gonna turn heel. Is it John Cena or Cody? Also, Rick Steen has said about that as well. So that's when they took The Rock. They took a phone call to The Rock, and they had said that maybe we should turn John Cena heel since John Cena was on his retirement tour. So they were exposing that, and The Rock was like, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea. Okay, I'm actually liking this. I would go because The Rock said that he wanted Cody to turn heel in Pat McAfee's show, but no. They had told The Rock they should have John Cena turn heel because The Rock wanted Cody to turn heel. And the Rock just went with John Cena turning heel. Damn. Yeah, kayfabe long dead for sure. And that is what Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed, they were talking about him and Kofi Kingston turning on Big E as the new heel faction. That's when people have been talking about the New Day turning heel on Big E when he came back. They have him expose him and Kofi turning heel on Big E, and that let them winning the tag team championships. That went nowhere. Why were y'all having them turn heel and y'all didn't give them much TV time? There is no long-term storytelling in this. They just have the New Day look like jobbers out there. Have them being in catering for so long. So what was the point of the heel turn? I don't know. And then we get to episode 5. Yeah, then we get to episode 5, man. They were talking about Jey Uso. Jey Uso of all people kind of interview, but not LA Knight or Karrion Kross or Io Sky or Alexa Bliss. Really? Okay. So they talk about Jey Uso's personal life, how he gets to be a wrestler, become a tag team with Jimmy Uso, being part of Roman Reigns, the Bloodline fashion. Yeah, no, all that stuff. And get this, he had said himself about Triple H calling him during the last minute, few hours before the Royal Rumble, and how his popularity soared with everybody yeeting to Jey Uso. And I was like, so they had Jey Uso cut an interview, but not LA Knight, who is actually one of the most over wrestlers in the company since 2023 and 2024. But no, it just had to be Jey Uso. And then they had him to talk about how Triple H is giving out these popularity speeches to him. Of him winning the World Heavyweight Championship, having Gunther tapping out. It was on the kickoff show on WrestleMania, by the way. So yeah, guys, that was everything that I watched on all 5 episodes of Unreal. And after watching it, that had me going. So y'all tell me, anybody who's watching this video, what the heck was the Royal Rumble all about? What the heck was WrestleMania all about? Of having Jey Uso winning it in the kickoff show, then losing the title 2 months later on a random Monday Night Raw episode just to have Gunther take on Goldberg. And what was the point of Charlotte Flair winning the Royal Rumble and not having someone else like Chelsea Green or Io Sky? I get that Tiffany Stratton said that she was a fan of Charlotte. Oh, which I forgot. They had even brought up the part where Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton were having like a personal fight, after that SmackDown episode before they're about to have their match at WrestleMania. They had they had literally filmed a part in this Unreal series of both Tiffany and Charlotte's loving relationship of someone like Andrade, someone like Ludwig. And man, if I was Charlotte, if I was Tiffany, I would have been pissed at that. Like, why would you show that to make it public worldwide on WWE Unreal's document series? Like, are y'all serious? That was literally personal right there. I don't know. This is how it is. But everybody's talking about it, so I have to talk about it as well. Like, can you imagine if this came out in the Attitude Era, in the Golden Era, or in the Ruthless Aggression Era? How we feel as kids actually watching them exposing the whole business when it comes to the behind-the-scenes stuff, the rehearsal stuff, taking it into the writer's room, and the gorilla position. How do you feel if we saw someone like, I don't know, Batista and Rey Mysterio, and they're doing their breakup? That was a storyline, by the way. Or how about Adam Copeland, aka Edge, and John Cena, the greatest feud of all time during the Ruthless Aggression Era? How you feel if they had exposed them actually talking about it during the rehearsals before the match actually happened? Of Edge cashing in on John Cena. All right, imagine if something like this happened with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. Did I get to mention that Triple H also once said in a press conference or in a private meeting backstage after WrestleMania 41, I've got to mention that Triple H had also said, "I wish I could tell people to F off. If you just enjoy it. If you don't like it, then you're just a critic. Be a fan and learn to like it." Remember when Triple H had said that? And that remember when he had took to Flatgrand's podcast and said, "The internet fans are not real. They don't matter." Y'all remember that? And that actually went viral, got over 1 million views. All right, the fans are listening, dude. That's why the ratings have been dwindling backwards on Netflix and on USA Network. 2.6 million on Netflix, 1.5 million on USA Network. Ouch. If you guys watch WWE Unreal, how you guys feel about it? Do you guys think it was unnecessary that they are long exposed through the kayfabe? If you guys didn't watch it, please watch it. It is a must watch. I promise you it is. And a bunch of podcasters such as Just Alex from Just Alex, one of my favorites, BC Amplified. He was already talking about it, one of my favorite podcasters of all time. So if you see this video, shout out to you guys. So yeah, let me know how you guys feel about this. And yeah, I'll see you guys in this video. By the way, this happened. They brought this out before SummerSlam, which SummerSlam is this weekend, by the way, in New Jersey. Boy. And also the matches that I have mentioned, that they had changed titles every 3 months, especially the singles titles. I wonder if they brought that into the writers' room, which they probably did. But yeah, guys, see you guys in the next video. Peace.